Just Incredible, bringing you a Mega Man X2 speedrun tutorial on Agile. So after defeating Sergei's, we have one more Counter Hunter stage before we reach the Shoryuken Rush and the final gauntlet. So this stage is also the third of the three major climbing stages in the run, and we also get the Shoryuken here, which is very important for the remainder of the game. So right off the bat, we're going to swap to Strike Chain, and we're going to take out these disc boys here, and then we're going to swap to Buster and take out the mosquitoes, which are very annoying. If you remember from Morphmoth, if you get caught by those things, they can repeatedly choose an action. They'll choose one of your action buttons, whether jump, dash, or shoot, and then they'll just like put it on turbo, which can really ruin your game like at this late in the game. So first thing you'll notice is that when we teleport in, we're going to buffer swap toward Strike Chain, and I believe going to the L buffer through the item tracer and the Giga Crush is the faster method. It only takes one buffer and five total weapon swaps to get to Chain. So you buffer the first one and then you press L 4 more times. This is assuming you're using default controls, by the way. So if you're using another button, then you have to make the appropriate change. So we get to Strike Chain, and Chain will take out these guys one hit easy. So simply chain each of them. Now, depending if they're standing still or they're jumping, you'll have to adjust your controls accordingly. But usually the best way to just handle these guys is to just shoot the chain, dash forward, let the gravity take over for X to where he could avoid projectiles if they decide to shoot any, or just stay out of the way of these bats, because eventually they will fly down towards X. So if you move a little slow, they can get in the way. And as you see here, the chain can force some health drops. So if you do take a hit from a couple of these bats, then you could get your health back, and which is very important for getting the Shoryuken, because without full health, we can't get the Shoryuken capsule to spawn when we reach it. And I'm going to see if I can slow this down a little bit here, probably at 80%. Here we go. Okay, so I've got this down to 80%, which is, I think, slow enough for me to explain everything. So when we get to this jump right here, the third disc boy, we want to dash off the ledge, or this is how I do it. I think some of the higher level runners might do it this a little differently, but if you're starting out, this is the basic method. As you dash off this platform here, you're going to dash, you're going to refrain from shooting the chain until X has started to pass this kind of invisible line I'm showing here. Because when the chain comes out, if you shoot the chain as soon as you dash off, it'll grab this corner, and you don't want that. You just want the chain to stick out far enough to take out the disc boy. And then, also, you're going to hold charge when you shoot this chain. And what's going to happen is, see, he's starting a charge, but as soon as you get the chain comes back to you, you can cancel to Buster, like right here, and then shoot a little green shot to take out these whole row of mosquitoes that are just going to be in your way. And then you continue on. This is probably the really technical part of the entire stage, is right here at the very beginning, because of the narrow space that you have to work with and all these enemies that will be in your way. And you may experience a little bit of lag here, but if you can just keep a lot of these enemies destroyed, you should be fine. So right after taking out those row of mosquitoes, you're going to charge up for a charged Sonic Slicer release. Well, at least I do that. A lot of people, they'll wait to freeze the Rhino here at the top after this second ladder. I just like to use Sonic Slicer. It's just what I've been used to. And plus, I don't want to take a risk on getting the crystal that forms when you freeze the Tyrannos to stop me. Like, sometimes I misplace the crystal. So similar to what you did in Counter Hunter 1, just take a Sonic Slicer and just kill the enemy before you actually reach it. So, and then after I climb, I'll start charging again. And now we have the double neons, or potentially a neon jump section. I don't want to necessarily say you're going to do double neons, but you're going to be doing neon jumps to reach these upper ledges, especially that one there. The first one is also like the toughest. If you miss the release neon to get to this ledge, you've always got the press neon as a backup. But regardless, you'll be needing another neon jump right there at the top where that bat and Tyrannos is to reach the top of the climb. But for the first neon here, if you get the release neon and you still have the second neon, there's 1, 2 full dash jumps, and then the third from the wall will barely get you up to this ledge right here. And then, similar to what we did in Bubble Crab, if you remember running the Stag Third portion, you had to hold dash while doing the slope jumps so that you could actually grab the wall, because you had the air dash, which would mess up your movement. So so we're using the same mechanic here to reach this jump here. Or you can just not hold dash and just do a normal jump off the wall. As long as you don't hit dash or press dash during this little section, you'll be fine. Like, right there for this jump that I've frozen, you can either use a normal jump, which is a little slower, but you won't have to worry about an accidental air dash. Or you hold dash down at the outset, and then when you jump, you still holding dash, and then you jump again, and you get this jump. So when you make that dash jump, you'll be slightly on the wall here. So just one jump and then a double kick can easily get you up to this ledge. Another quick jump, and then another jump, and then you're set up for the neon jump, which if you still are on the press charge, just usually pressing dash, and as you see here, it's pretty much dash and then I press jump and shoot at the same time quickly after. So right here, and you can even see I froze it perfectly. Like, X is getting ready to do the neon jump. So you can see his feet are in the ground position. He's grounded for 1 frame when he fires the charge shot. So if you press jump and shoot at the same time, that's how he's able to do the neon jumps. Because for that 1 frame he's grounded, you're actually jumping also. And then boom, you're up there. Now, if you miss this neon jump here, and there's no bat and there's no Tyrannos, so this second shot, if you shoot it at the right height, can take out both these enemies at once, and then you're left with no enemies. If this happens, come back down just a little bit, like down here, and climb back up to respawn the bat and use Crystal Hunter. Lead the bat over around this gap and freeze it, and then you got it as a step to climb out. That's basically the quick solution to getting out of this section. You're supposed, like in casual play, you're supposed to use the lift at the very bottom and constantly jump on it to lead you up this shaft, but you really, like, if you know the speedrun techniques, then that's basically a why is it there. There's also another backup for the very first jump here. If you miss both neons, you'll have to dash jump over to here, to this side, and from a dash jump at a perfectly timed place, you can actually dash jump, and X will jump out far enough and can grab this ledge, and then you can jump on over and continue on. So basically, pretend X is on this edge of this ledge, and then he can climb out. It is possible, but hopefully you don't have to resort to that. So, and then right here is a little tricky. You want to be about halfway up. Like, you'll see a set of flashing lights, and it's kind of hard because of the quality of this video, but there's 4 sets of little lights. The very bottom set, you want X's head to be just about, and you'll get the right height, like right here. And all you gotta do is just grab one of the sides. X is almost like within a 7-pixel window of either side, so it doesn't really matter how close he is. He can possibly grab either side of this little ledge and just jump out. But either way, now if you use the neon, if you use like a release neon to get through this and you're left with the other neon charge, fire it away, because you have to recharge for a charge burner coming up. Because this tutorial only covers the bottom route. If you're really new to running this game, I do not recommend top route for a little while, at least until you can get through bottom route super duper good. Because top route is filled with spikes, and one mistake and you're dead. So it's too early for a beginner or novice to do top route until they've gotten really good at movement. And it's more technical with button presses also. So right here, going bottom route, you should be ready for a charge burner, and you should be before you get to the ladder. And then what you're going to do, when X drops down in front of this cannon driver, as soon as he clears this ledge, or the bottom of this ledge, he's going to be, half his body is going to be under this end. And that's when you release the burner, and you don't hold any direction to go forward. You're going to let the burner carry him past the cannon driver, and he's going to drop perfectly behind the cannon driver and through the gap, continuing down. Now he'll have burner speed at this point, so he can move faster than the dash speed, which is perfect for this next zigzag section. See, X can move, if you time it right, X goes perfectly down the diagonal through the space. And then he comes back the other direction here, to the ladder. So you release, and you just let the burner carry him past the cannon driver, and then you use your burner momentum to fall in line with the blocks. Now, if you did this with dash speed, you'll probably, X will get caught on a corner block somewhere. And then you'll have to just re-dash, and you have to be really careful because there's some spikes there, and if you go late, you'll probably die. So just be real careful. And then once that burner expires, you're recharging for another burner. And you're going to use it right here. So after he comes down to and reach this ladder here, you're going to grab it just for a second, and you're going to let go of the ladder. And then you're going to use an air dash to dash over like this. And then you're going to have the burner charge ready when you get to the disc boy, and you're going to release the burner charge to go through him. Now hopefully you're still at full health, but if you're not at full health, instead of keep going over the little bird machine there, stop in front of the bird machine while you're still on speed burner and fire a burner into it. And you should get a bunch of different types of drops, but you keep going until you get a health refill. Or you just use a sub-tank before you reach the trigger point for the Shoryuken capsule. So coming up is probably the last neon jump in the game. And I always use charge up for a full neon, for a double charge, and try to get it on the first neon. because in case you miss it, you do have the second neon as a backup. You can also use a neon jump to grab the right side of the shaft instead of the left here. But left will get you a little closer to the capsule, and it saves a few frames. Some people like to use the second and climb up the right side. That way they recharge for a burner, even though I'm not showing it here. And you can actually burner just before reaching the capsule where the X will drop down. But in this particular example, I just dashed off, and he magically got lucky and ended up next to the capsule, which can happen. It's random, I think. Or if you have the burner, you can just burner as soon as you dash off the hidden corridor, and you can burner and get the toe in the capsule. So now you have the Shoryuken. So from this point on, it's very important not to get hit, because you're going to kill every boss, hopefully, with the Shoryuken. So as soon as the demonstration's done, you're going to charge up burner again. And once you reach the end of that ledge right there, you're going to dash off the ledge, and then as soon as you're off of the ledge, you're going to release the burner in midair, and that will carry you to this first platform through this spike hallway. So as soon as the burner's done, optimally you want to weapon cancel to Buster, and then just do a normal jump. And then at the very height of your normal jump, before you start falling, you're going to do an air dash and then a dash shot. So you're going to dash and shoot in midair, and that's going to be a dash shot, which will take out that mosquito there. As soon as you do the dash shot, you're going to hold charge, and then once you land on the second platform, you're going to release your green charge shot, and that'll take out the two mosquitoes on the bottom part of the hallway. And as you keep moving, because you have to keep the charge shot on the screen to take them both out, you're going to dash jump again, and then when you get to the last third platform, there's one more mosquito dude right in front of the door. A dash shot at full height, when you reach full height, will take him out. Now sometimes this particular mosquito, if you're too close to him, like, he has a proximity around him, and if you're in his proximity, he will rush you down. So you want to try to be at the very end of the platform when you do this jump and then you do the dash shot, because then he's too far away and doesn't technically see you. And the same with this one. It might be this one that people get hit on, but it's one of these two. Yeah, it might be this one, but still, you want to try to keep moving at all times so you don't get hit. Because if you get hit, you have to rely on a lucky health drop right before the door, or you have to use a sub-tank. And if you've used up a sub-tank, which typically happens, most runners do get a sub-tank full of energy when they reach Agile, and they usually have to burn it somewhere if they get unlucky. But hopefully that doesn't happen, or the run could already be over. Like, without the Shoryuken, you lose a crap ton of time on every boss in the game that you don't get to use it on. So here's the last part. Now remember, this is being played at 80% speed, so you're going a little faster than what the video is showing here. So you just release the burner, cancel, jump, dash shot, hold your charge, fire a buster charge, keep moving forward with a dash jump, and then at the very end, it's one dash shot. And if you need help, hope for a health drop. And there you go. And then for Agile, it's basically the first boss that you get to use Shoryuken on, and it's basically an aerial boss that it basically shows you, oh, you have to use Shoryuken to carry you upwards. That's the natural path of the Shoryuken. It carries you forward and upward, just like in the Street Fighter games. And you can only use this move at full health. Otherwise, you have to use a sub-tank, or you have to use its standard weakness weapon, which is Magnet Mine. And also, Agile can move left or right here at the start. If he moves all the way right and doesn't move back left, if you Shoryuken late without a buffered input, you can Shoryuken onto the spikes in the middle of the screen and die, because you're completely invincible during the Shoryuken animation, and once the Shoryuken is done, your invincibility ends. Now that will be important later in the final stage to set up one of the Shoryuken setups for one of the final bosses. So the Shoryuken input is forward, down, and down forward. And then after you do the down forward input, you press Y. And you have about, I think it's, I want to say 12 frames before you lose the Shoryuken, before that you have to press Y after the down forward. It might be more than that. It might be 19 frames. I'm not really sure. But you don't want to press shot before the last down input. So try not to rush the Shoryuken. So I would practice the Shoryuken, and like if you're just doing this stage or doing practice, just practice the Shoryuken going to the left in a boss corridor, like before you touch the second door, and Shoryuken left to get your practice. But if you do a buffered Shoryuken, X, or a fairly close to a buffered Shoryuken, X will still be on this platform when the Shoryuken ends instead of being on the spikes. Now, if you do that Shoryuken and you miss the Shoryuken and you're still on the platform, then obviously you can do a second one to finish him off. In case he does go right at the start and you don't get any hits on him, or not enough. Because, as you see here, the Shoryuken is not a one-hit kill like the Hadouken in X1. This attack deals damage based on frames of contact. So I'm going to slow this video down more to show that. Let me see how slower I can get this. That's only at 60. Okay, half speed should be enough. Now watch his meter when the Shoryuken connects. Oh, okay, now I just discovered something. The Shoryuken doesn't deal typical Shoryuken damage like I thought for this boss. As you see, it's not a one-hit kill. His health gradually depletes. But it depletes very quickly, but it's not all at once. The standard formula for the Shoryuken damage, if the enemy is not in invincibility frames, the Shoryuken is supposed to deal 16 damage, and then for every frame of contact after, the enemy will be in invincibility frames and it deals 8. But for this fight, it deals 8 damage per frame to Agile. So if you notice, the health is gradually depleting. Now, it will go faster, like for other bosses, especially in the refights. It will deal 16 damage and then 8 for each one. But in this particular fight, it only deals 8 damage per frame. So you need a total of 4 frames of connection, which isn't much, but if Agile does go right at the start, you won't get all 4 frames. So it's a very easy, once you learn the Shoryuken and learn not to get hit. And that's basically the rest of Agile. And then after that is the refights.